Right, advanced practicum students. This week you are going to be working on, well, first of all, in the domain of communication. So, with that comes the understanding of language and different items and what's the name of things and can children identify things. So, I thought it would be kind of fun to work on body parts. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be creating an interactive wall or an interactive board. So a wall, something that can be put up on the wall is what you're going to be doing, placing it maybe on the floor. It's a board that can move around. You're going to create something though where it's not a piece of paper and it's not like a card thing. So I want you to kind of think about it that way. All right, so we're going to be looking at children's body parts and seeing if your kids are able to understand the names of body parts and if they're able to label them as well. So click on the document like we normally do. And the first thing you're going to be doing is you're going to go start with number one, and we're going to click on the body part checklist. All right, so we've got this opened up. Now, notice what it says here. Once a child, so you're going to print this off, or if not, just kind of keep an eye on it. Have one for every child in the classroom is what you're going to do. Once a child gets to a point where they don't get two body parts in a row, then it's time to stop. So for some of our infants, you're only going to get past a couple of the body parts and then you're going to be done because they're not going to know some of these things, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is where it says with the bright red arrow, do this column first. Child can point to the body parts on themselves when you say it. So you are going to say this every single time. Where is your face? And see if the child points to it. If they point to it, put in a mark. Then you say, where is your eye? If the child can do it, put in a mark. Where is your nose? If they can do it, put in a mark. So you're going to do this throughout the entire checklist until you get to a point where maybe you start saying, where is your foot? And the child doesn't point to it or doesn't touch it. Where is your stomach? The child doesn't point to it or touch it. That's two in a row. Now you get to stop. All right. For those who are working with preschoolers, it would be really interesting to see how far down your kids can get and if they know some of these unique body parts that we don't always talk about. Once you're done with that first column, then you're going to move to the next column. So I want you to think about this. This is a progression of language. Number one, can they understand something? And then number two, can they say it? So we're checking two different parts of language is what we're doing with this actual experience. So next you're going to point to the body part and you're going to say, what is this? So point to your face and kind of maybe make a whole, go around your face, say, what is this? And they have to say the word face. What is this? When you point to your eye and they need to tell you. So again, put in the marks, marking down how far and how much your kids know. All right, so that's the first part. That's what you should be doing this week just to kind of start on collecting information. So again, this is our way of observing is what we're doing. Next, once you've got that checklist done, then you're going to go to number two. So you always go in order, okay? Go to number two. Click on the document. And what you're going to do is you're going to tally up after doing all of the kids in the classroom, asking them if they can point to parts of their body. And then if they can tell you the name of it, you're going to add up. That's what a tally is. You're going to add it up. So how many of the kids were able to point to their face? If there were 5 kids and all 5 could do it, put in 5 marks. Maybe there are only 3 kids who could do this one. Put in 3 marks or write the number 3, however you want to do it. But what you're going to do is you're going to then submit this to me. I don't need to see the checklist of every single child. But here's the thing. Keep that checklist, my friends, because in 3 months, go back and review it. See if that each child can do more, can identify more. And the ones that they can't do, well, obviously we're going to work on something so that they can start learning their body parts. All right. So you're going to add up all of the ones, and then this is the document I want to see in Blackboard. So that's one of the things. Plus, obviously, this document as well, because you write on this document. So you did number 2, and yes, it does say submit this document. Next, review the information on your tally checklist. Now, I want you to think about this. Could your children identify, point to more body parts than they could label? Answer the question. What did you learn from this checklist? Answer the question. Does anything surprise you? I'm looking for answers in here, my friends. Please, this is for you to be thoughtful in your teaching practice. Again, you're gathering information, you're assessing your kids, and you're finding out where they're at. With the information you've learned from number 3 and number 2 and number 1, you're going to then create an interactive way for the kids to work on learning their body parts. So I'm looking for you to create an interactive board or a wall. And I did offer suggestions for each of the different age groups that you're working with. So for some of you who work with infants, something you could do is maybe place a mirror on the wall or on a board and have the children look at that mirror. And then as they're looking at it, label facial parts. So obviously, we're going to start with the younger kids. The face is usually the first part of the body that we start doing identification things with. So that's where you're going to start also. You could also have photographs around the mirror, and it would be kind of cool if you took now a photograph is a picture, something that comes from a camera. It's not a drawing, all right? Photographs are like live pictures. You could maybe take pictures of some of your babies and put of their faces and just put their faces around the mirror. And then you can point to their face and then have them look in the mirror and then they can see the mirror also. So that would be something you could do for infants. For toddlers, I've got the same kind of idea, but this time instead of just doing the face, we're going to make it a little bit more. We're going to do the full body. So now see if they can identify and touch different parts of their body. So maybe you're going to have a longer mirror where they can see parts of their face and their body. They're going to see all of them. So then something else you could do is create a puzzle of body parts and see if the child can put the pieces together, maybe like on a flannel board, up on the wall. Again, I want a different place. What I'm working on for you guys is to enhance your environment. So I don't want it something that you're going to just put in a little baggie and put away. Something on the wall is what I'm looking at because I want you to understand that you can use your wall space as a teaching space. That's something that I'm thinking a lot of you don't think about, but it's a really, really good thing to do. What you could also do is have each child lie on a piece of large paper and trace their bodies. And then the kids can have fun like gluing different parts of themselves on. So you could cut eyes out. And again, your best thing to do is if you're doing this puzzle of body parts, you should use photographs. Do not draw these things out. Make it as real looking as possible is what you want to do. So maybe in a magazine or maybe take pictures of the kids and then cut out, their arms, their legs, their stomach, all that stuff and see if they can put those pieces together. Same thing with the drawing of the large piece, maybe cut out real eyes and some hair and things like that and see if they could then put those pieces on the tracing of themselves and then label. So write down and talk to them about the different body parts that they're decorating. Some of the same things then I'm offering then for the older kids as well, okay? So as you can see, I've upped the experiences depending on the age level. So you're going to offer the experience within like the next week or two. Then, after you've done the experience, you're going to be taking pictures. I need to see pictures of this actual experience, not something that maybe somebody else did in their classroom or something that's being sold. I want pictures of your actual classroom with the experience. And I need to see those pictures because then that tells me you really did the assignment also instead of just writing something down. So what did you decide to do as an experience? Tell me about it here. Then so that's part of the teaching cycle again. You're assessing, You're doing and then you reflect. So we're going to now do then the reflection after it's all done. What was the children's reaction to the experience you offered? Did they enjoy using the walls in the classroom this time to learn something? Did the children learn some new body parts? Then reflection as a teacher. So this was the kids' reaction. Now, what about as a teacher? Do you feel you provided a challenging experience for the kids? Were there things that you would do differently? How did you like using the wall space for the children? Have you done this before? What else would you like to add? All right. So another thing, getting back to these pictures, sorry, this just kind of came into me. If you don't have permission from all the kids to be able to take pictures, which most of you do, most of you are working somewhere and you are allowed to take pictures of kids, but do the backs of their heads, all right? There are ways you can do this. So please don't tell me I cannot take pictures of kids, okay? All right. This is this assignment. Enjoy it, have fun with it. Please be creative. And I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say from it.